You're going to completely hate me for it, and I'm not sorry, and I'm going to get absolutely roasted for this. But let's be real. Most reps think that they're being deep when they're asking, what's your biggest challenge? But let's call it what it actually is. It's not depth, it's disguised as absolute laziness. Because here's what actually happens when you ask that. You get surface level answers, you get a predictable response. The prospect goes into, this is just sales call mode. And the moment that happens, you are no longer the trusted advisor. You are just another rep. They're mentally preparing to dodge. They're putting you in the bucket. You are now just staying in the friend zone of sales, and nothing's going to happen. You're going to get a dirty think about it. And that's why you're stuck getting the same stalls. I need to think about it. Let me talk to my partner. I need to work out the money, all that bullshit, because you are not getting to the real truth. And the thing is though, here is the truth. You don't need better rebuttals. You just need better frames, you need better depth, and you need a structure that gets under the surface without triggering the prospect's defenses. And after helping hundreds of sales reps break revenue plateaus and closing over $27 million in the past 6 years, I've learned one thing. Elite closers, they do not manipulate their prospects. What they do is they liberate them, and they help them by getting to the truth, finding the real reasons why it's happening, and helping the prospect feel safe in their own environment. They close not by pressure, but absolute clarity in being able to know they can get the right outcome without forcing the prospect to feel a certain way. And this is where they can feel like they are not in a boxing match with their prospects, and the prospect feels safe, secure, and they're able to get the best outcome for both the closer and the prospect. And this is what you can do without creating pressure, but you can also create clarity for the prospect. And the tool that I use to do that, it's called the Truth Framework. And today I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So stay tuned. And if you haven't got a pen and paper, grab one now. So first things first is the T in truth. This is tactical discovery. So this is where you want to start with the desire, anchor a contrast, and reverse the flow. Most reps follow a completely flawed framework. What they do is they start with a heavy pain, then they dig deeper, and then they pivot into a pitch. What happens with that is if someone's already overwhelmed, they're already feeling nervous on a call, and they're starting the call and knowing it's a sales call, what you've done is you've thrown yourself straight into the bucket of being the cheesy sales guy who's trying to dig for pain. And what they're going to do is be repelled by you. And the thing is though, you trigger what is called shame in their prospect. And before you've even earned their trust, they're already distrusting you because you're trying to find the pain points and you're picking at them and shooting them like an AK-47 with questions and barraging them. And so what I want to do instead is I completely want to flip the sequence, because I want to start where they want to go. I want to start with a vision. I want to start with that desire, that deep seated desire, the thing that they look out the window every single day and dream about. And I want to know what's actually exciting them. Then I want to bring them down to what's actually stopping them now. So you anchor and contrast. So your offer becomes the bridge of point A to point B. So think hope, reality, solution. And here's a better question to open with when you're getting started with your calls, so then you can get a better outcome, or what's happening at the moment that's brought you to this conversation today. So what this is going to do, it's going to make it more simple. It's going to allow you to be a lot more direct on your calls. And the thing is though, it's going to be a more disarming question rather than going, tell me your freaking problems. So what that also will do is it's going to create a lot of space for your prospect. When you can create space, the prospect will feel naturally open up, and it invites truth. So this opens a door, and now we're going to go to the R. So this is real connection. The prospect's not going to go deep with you until they feel absolutely safe. So this is where you have to listen to them and understand what they're actually feeling. You don't get emotional truth for someone who has their shields up and they're trying to guard themselves. So before you get into the hard questions, you need to break the tension and you need to humanize the space and make them feel more confident and clarity that you're the person that they can trust and you're the trusted advisor in this call. And how you do this is actually starting off with something casual. And most sales reps, most gurus, what they try to do is tell you not to do this and don't talk about the weather and all those things. You actually want to do that, because what happens is then you humanize the whole situation. You want to ask about their time zone. You want to ask about their setup. Even a quick, how's your day been? Like, you start with a presence that shifts the entire dynamic. You even, for example, say like you like their painting or you like their hair, or like even the simple thing is like, even when they're smiling at you, you go, you look really happy today. Like, what were you doing before this? Right? What they're going to do is they're going to open up and they're going to feel a lot more clarity, and they're going to feel so much more confident in you, because they know, yeah, you're not just like a sales rep going to be punching something down their throat, hoping that they're going to buy. And it completely breaks the tension. So here's one of my favorite micro moves that I use that works every single time. and it's just been absolutely foolproof. So when someone says, I'm just being honest, I hear that a lot in my calls, just being honest, right? The thing is though, what I always reply with, and I say this with a smile, is I hope you're being honest. When you say that, what's going to happen is the prospect is going to go, well, yeah, I am being honest. And if he's calling that out or she's calling that out, then he must be honest too. What that happens there is they're going to start to be more honest, and you're almost presupposing that everything you're doing is honest, right? And if you're actually a good sales rep, then you actually are being honest. And if you're not, you need to fix that very quickly. And the thing is, though, what I want to do is I want to smile while I'm saying that. So it's like, I hope you're being honest. One of those little reframes, and it changes the whole vibe. It makes the whole conversation a whole lot more real. It's going to have you sit in the pocket a lot sooner, and that prospect's going to open up. This is where you're able to give them a real space, and you don't need any posturing. And this is the best part. From here, you move forward together, and there's no friction required. Now we're going to go to the you in truth. Right? Understanding the pain. So become the emotional choreographer in your call, not the wound poker. You don't want to be poking at things. And this is where amateur closers go too soft, or they actually go too hard. So what some of them do, they actually avoid pain entirely. And I've seen it happen time and time again. And I was reviewing a call this morning where the sales closer was actually completely ignored the pain completely, because they were too scared to go deep, because the prospect was a high D prospect and a sophisticated buyer, and it completely ruined the sale for them. So this is where I see some closers, they avoid pain entirely. Well, what some of the other ones, they actually hammer it to the point where it's unbearable and actually causes the prospect to be completely turned off. This is the difference between good and great. Great closers, they treat the pain and they treat the understanding like a navigation point, and they just know what direction they want to head into. So what they do is they pick up on the emotional breadcrumbs and they listen to what's said and what is not being said. Because when you understand what is being said and then what is not being said, you're able to get clarity on what turn left and what turn right need to happen in your sales calls. So when someone says, I'm just coming to terms with it, I don't want to gloss over that. That is what is called blood in the water. You want to figure out what someone is just coming to terms with. If they're just coming to terms with a problem, that is blood in the water, because they've been sitting on it for a very long time. But the thing is though, right, you don't want to be the shark. A shark is someone who's going to take advantage of a situation, whereas what you want to be is the surgeon. You want to figure out what's happened and you want to help them see what they've been avoiding. And this is where you're going to help them see with a lot more precision and safety, not just sitting there biting at them. That is unacceptable, and you should not be doing that on your sales calls. And a great question here is, when you start to get that, you want to go into what's called timeline language. So you want to go back into it. So you want to go back to the problem they had and you want to ask the question, when did you start feeling like this became a real problem for you? Let them time travel and let them open the emotional bookmarks in the past that they don't understand or they haven't wanted to understand, and you help them really realize it. And the thing is though, here's the truth. You never want to let anyone suffer in silence on your calls. You need to have them inflict a little bit of pain and bring up that pain. And that's what's actually going to help them get to where they want to go. You're going to get to think about it. You're going to get some absolutely crazy excuses at the end of the call because you haven't addressed it in a safe and secure manner. Then from there, the second T is trust building. This is why you can go this deep without actually losing the room. So let's pause here, because at this point in the call, the prospect might be thinking, like, why is this guy actually asking me all these questions? And why am I feel like I'm going through a psychology session? I'm being interrogated, right? And this is your cue to start building authority without actually bragging. So I say something like, the reason I'm asking this is because I've actually worked with people in the exact same situation. What I found is what's going on up here, pointing to the head, is actually what's usually reflecting and everything else. So for example, when I'm helping business owners, what I tell a business owner is usually, like, do you ever hear people how they say they have business problems? And the business owner goes, yeah, like I hear that all the time. And I go, well, actually, in fact, I've been doing this for almost a decade now. And the thing is, I've helped over 15,000 business owners or 9-to-5s who are transitioning out of the 9-to-5. And the thing I found is people don't actually have business problems. What they have is life problems that reflect in their business. So when we understand what's going on up here, we can understand what's going to go on in your business. So we can actually help you fix that. For example, like, do you know anybody who has money problems and they're always spending all their money? If we hand them $50,000 tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen? What they're going to do is going to spend that money like no tomorrow. If we can help them understand what's going on in their life, we can help them with their business. That's going to help them with the justification of why we're asking the questions, why answering the questions honestly is going to help, And then getting to the truth is going to be the best thing, because then you're going to be able to put the right systems, the right processes, and the right things in place to get them the best outcome. And that is the biggest aha moment I've ever had, giving a justification. I'm asking this because completely changed the game for me. And the thing is, though, they're going to open up to you because they know why you're asking the question, rather than you just having an AK-47 of questions going at them and they're like, I have no idea why he's asking it. And the best part about it, they're not going to feel fearful around you. So you're not just a salesperson to them, you're the trusted guide. And again, you're the trusted advisor. You're in the room not just to sell, but you're there to show them what they couldn't see alone. You offered a different perspective, and the thing is, though, you're coming from an eagle eye perspective of seeing things that they probably didn't see. You're probably seeing the blind spots that they don't have, and that's the thing. That's what a coach and a mentor actually does. They see things from a different perspective and allows their prospect to be able to see it in a safe manner, rather than them getting barraged again, and you're making them feel uncomfortable for not seeing it, or you're making them feel stupid, which I see all the time. You never want to have your prospect feel stupid. So now we're up to the H, human to human close. So this is where we want to help the prospect guide to sell themselves. So I want to be completely real here. And I know you're going to say, I hope you're being real, but this is where let's be really honest. And this is the thing, the close isn't actually about you. It's about your prospect. And what they need is they need you to be completely on them, not you shoving shit down their throat. So this is where you need alignment. You don't need a slick one-liner. You don't need some fancy language pattern. You don't need to tell them it's a Visa, MasterCard, whatever it is, right? What you need to do is you need to help them come to the conclusion that this is the best decision ever. This is the best decision for them to get to where they want to go. So this is where a simple identity frame is coming in. This is where you want to ask them, for example, based on everything I've broken down for you, do you feel like this aligns with your future self to be able to get to where you want to go so you can fix X, Y, and Z problem? What you want to do is have them align with the future version themselves and bring them to the current version, which allows them to have more synergy. And what that does is it creates a really nice, safe place where they are closing themselves and they're aligning themselves with them future selves, rather than you having to force them into an uncomfortable situation. And the thing is, though, once you have this actually land for the prospect, the contrast of them staying stuck where they are and where they want to be collides in a really good way, because what it does is it comes together. And this is where you can actually stack it with, once they agree that they can feel like this can actually get them to where they want to go, now what you can do is you can hit them with a mini consequence phase. So what a mini consequence phase means is you can tell them, okay, I can understand that you can see this actually working for you, but what actually happens if nothing actually changes? And what does life look like if you're still in the same place 3 months from now? Or what happens if you end up in the same place 3 months from now, not having X, Y, and Z what they really want? And that's where you need to shut up immediately, because you need to let them sit in it. You need to let them sit in the discomfort, and you need to let them understand what will happen if nothing actually changes. Because the thing is, though, what you've helped them do is you've helped them have a human to human conversation, and now you need to help them uncover the real truth. And you need to let them answer this for themselves. And if they don't answer it, or they answer in a way that they're gonna like say, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna all of a sudden, no, I'm gonna make changes or something like that, you cannot accept that. This is where you need to respond with absolute love, not pressure. You need to call it out. I'm not here to pressure you. The only reason I'm challenging you is because I know you're capable more and I can feel it. But the thing is, though, if I just simply accept you saying that you're going to make a change, even though you haven't made a change for the past 2 years, how is anything going to ever change if you don't actually make the changes and nothing tangible happens? And this is where the next question you want to ask is, from what you're seeing at the moment, how do you envision a path forward for yourself? Or if you were to create a path for yourself, what will you envision the next step being, right? What this will do is there's no manipulation, there's no discount deadlines, and there's just clarity, safety, and the prospect is making their own choices and they're telling you what they want. And that's why this works. The truth framework gets to the real truth because you're not having to actually use some cheesy tactics, or you're not having to like manipulate the prospect. You're just having a very honest conversation, and that's just going to help you get more of what you want, and it's going to get more of what they want too. And the thing is here, I want you to see this. When you run your calls through the truth framework, you stop chasing objections and you start creating more alignment between you and the prospect, and thus the business. The business will thank you for it, because what you're going to have is you're going to be able to hand over prospects that are primed, they feel safe, and they're excited, which means that you're going to reduce your refund risk on the next day. This is where the truth framework really sets you apart. Your prospects stop resisting you, they start revealing. And this is when someone actually feels seen. Your prospect is going to feel more safe, they're going to feel more heard, And the thing is, though, they don't actually need to be sold. They already want the thing. You don't need to sell them. You need to help them realize. And what they do is they start selling themselves. And the best part is you are co-creating absolute clarity with them. And they're gonna love you for it, which means you're gonna get more referrals. You're gonna get more people coming back to you, and they're gonna love you for it. And the best part about it is once you learn how to do that, you never need another closing technique ever again. And you have a real honest conversation with somebody, and you know exactly what to do, what to say, and how to say it. All right, if this hit home for you and you feel like this actually resonated, what I want you to do, first things first, drop a like. Then from there, subscribe, because we're going to drop more source like this in the next few videos, which are actually going to be more in depth. They're going to provide a whole heap of free training that other guys aren't actually putting out there. I'm going to show you deep psychological frameworks that most people aren't actually willing to share to the public. So below, I want you to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, please have a look at the Remote Closers Blueprint. It's down below in the comments. This is a community where the investment is absolutely tiny. You can get in, learn exactly how to get started in remote high ticket sales, learn how to get better at remote high ticket sales, and close more deals if that's something you're working on. And also you have a community of like-minded individuals just like you who are getting ahead. These are individuals who are breaking plateaus. And the best part about it all sharing the same goal, making more money, living a better life, and being able to have more freedom and more future financial security. So here's the thing. If you know that's something you are destined for, click the link below. Don't hesitate, because either you get in or you're going to get left behind. See you in the next video.